welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here, hanging out with us inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Appreciate your patience this morning and are very happy to be here with you. And I am in an interesting scenario because a personal matter this week will take me out from being here with you in the studio, but I have pre-planned and pre-prepared an entire week of broadcasts for you, and you are not going to miss a beat. We have fantastic specials coming up. On March 1st, 2025, we officially headed into year 2 of our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University. That special with Athletics Director Gene Marshall will be here for you tomorrow, this Tuesday, March 4th at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And Gene will talk about what the partnership means to Binghamton, as well as all of the great things that have been happening with Binghamton University and moving forward. On Wednesday, at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, this Wednesday, March 5th, we will be joined in a special with Phil Brown, the new leader of athletics at Lemoyne College. And Phil Brown will be joining me, Assistant VP of Intercollegiate Athletics and Campus Recreation, as well as Jeremiah Marr will be joining us for the first time ever, Director of Philanthropy in connection with Legends and Lemoyne. They will be joining us to speak with me on Giving Day. Giving Day for Lemoyne is 24 hours of giving this Thursday, March 6th. And before that happens, on the eve of it, on March 5th, you will hear from Phil Brown and Jeremiah Marr, so make sure you stay tuned for that. On Thursday, March 6th, at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, Herm Frazier will be joining me from Syracuse University. He will be telling his story, which is incredible. He is an Olympian. He is a medalist. He is also someone who was an integral part of working with the Fiesta Bowl and so much more. His career found him at UAB, Hawaii, and more. And he's been at Syracuse for a long time, brought in by Dr. Darryl Gross. He also has gone all the way to the White House and met the president. You will not want to miss a moment of my special with Herm Frazier that has so many layers to it. It's like 10 different shows in one. That's this Thursday, March 6th at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And then my brother, Mo Neal, will be joining me this Friday, March 8th at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And that's, or pardon me, March 7th. At 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and that special with Mr. Mo Neal will feature the life of a football player, reflecting on his time, and life after playing football, and how Mo is so much more than a football player. 2,560 yards at Syracuse, and he has still, I believe, the record for most yards per carry in a game, in a single game with at least 8 carries. He had almost 20 yards, I think, a carry in that game. So a lot of great stuff coming up. Once again, specials with Gene Marshall, as well as Phil Brown and Jeremiah Marr, Herm Frazier, and Mo Neal, all coming up for you this week, prepared ahead of time so that you don't have a moment without wake-up call. A lot of these people take weeks off, months off, sweeps during COVID, almost a year off. Crazy. Well, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, we're prepared. So, as I will be dealing with some things that have dealt with my health for a little while, as I'm getting better by the grace of God, you will have plenty of show to watch and listen to. And speaking of plenty show, we're doing an entire week and a day with Murph today on DT and Murphy. Inside of MonPazPopcorn.com is what's popping, bringing you the ingredients to success, which is typically on Tuesday from Avicolli's. And then our Friday segments, the annoying moment of the week from Carvel DeWitt, lead, learn, evolve, ad lib, and deliver from Chick-fil-A Cicero, and the top dog of the week from K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare, all coming to you from this week in a day today, because I didn't want you to miss a beat this week while I was out getting better. And GG Cards and Breaks is going to bring us sports card show and tell, because I got a lot of cool stuff to show you. Thanks for being with us inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, youtube.com, facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. And with that being said, Murphalation for the nation is picture-in-picture with us doing a week in a day. Murph, how we doing?
I'm doing well, my friend. As we talked before, I'm hoping that you will come out of this feeling better and stronger. But also, you see some of these guys that'll take, a week off. Sometimes they get somebody to fill in for them, but you are one of a kind, and I don't think anybody could fill in for you and do what you do. So I'm glad that you're able to, show the viewers everything that they need to see in over the course of a week, and having that pre-plan. That is something that is going above and beyond, and everybody deserves that. So a thank you to you from the viewers, myself being one of them on the 4 days that I am not a part of the show. But you deserve that, my friend.
Well, no, I appreciate it. And, it's funny. A doctor will tell me, hey, go take a vacation, go take a break, go have some fun. And he said, I don't want you to broadcast. This was said to me last year. I don't want you to broadcast. I want you to rest. We were trying to figure out what was going on with my mouth and my jaw and whatnot. He said, I want you to take a little break. And I went and saw him, and he said, are you going to take a break? I said, yeah. I said, I prepared all my shows ahead of time, so I did 2 weeks worth in a week. And he goes, I didn't tell you to do more work in order to do less work. So basically, you didn't listen to me, and you did everything. You did double so that you could go take a break. And I said, yeah. And he said, why? And I said, because people, he said, I want you to take a break and relax. And I said, I understand, but I'm not the type of person that wants to leave somebody hanging. And I know we have over 5,000 videos on YouTube and almost 2,000 audio pieces that we've done that you can go back and listen to. And they go all the way back to 2000. Well, they have been going back to July of 2012, which is when my company started. But it's one of those things where I want to make sure that people have something, and I want to make sure that they're never missing a beat, that it's special, that all of the businesses we work with see that we go above and beyond and under promise and over deliver. So these aren't just specials this week. They're incredible. The messages are great. I've had the privilege of being able to see and hear them as being a part of them. So you will not be disappointed this week by any stretch. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I'll be watching from bed. I'll be in 2 places at once, and I'll be with my parents and my dog and getting better. And your boy's a healthy boy, but thank you to God for that. So, the fact that I have to go out here and have a little surgery is something that's a little nerve-wracking, but I know my body well enough to know when I got to do something. And so I just hope all goes well, and that I'm sitting back in the chair ready to go right after that, because we got a lot of big things. I'm supposed to be traveling. And to your point of like preparing shows ahead of time, I moved up my surgery because I'm supposed to travel. So for my job. So I was like, yeah, can we just,
Well, we got March Madness
yeah.
coming here soon, buddy. You got to go to the tournaments. You got to go, you got to get to round 1, round 2, wherever you got to go to cover your teams and, have a little bit of fun doing it. So you plan it ahead, and, it was like when I had that shoulder surgery back in 2023. I set it up so that I could go to North Carolina for or for Sunday and Monday, and then come home and have surgery on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So it's all about planning.
And there's something that stuck with me. I put a lot of Bible verses up that I find on social media. One of them I put up last night. It's Proverbs 16:3, chapter 16, verse 3. It says, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and your plans will succeed. So I'm committing to the Lord that this will work. I'm committing to the Lord that this surgery is a necessary thing, and that I need help and with this. So I'm committing to the Lord and trusting in the Lord with the medicine, with the doctor's hands and everything that they have to do, and with the surgery itself, and that these plans will succeed. I will heal. I will feel better. I've had a lot of things going on. I'm hoping that it's all coming from one place, and that once this place is figured out, that all this stuff will heal, and that I'm able to feel relief, feel better, be healthy, be well, and get back to 100%. So this is what I'm looking to do, and I'm trusting in the Lord those plans so that these plans will succeed, because if there's anybody that can bring a plan to fruition and bring success to an idea, it's God himself. So I'm resting in his hands, I'm laying in his hands, and I'm giving it all up to him. And that's what we're doing here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. That's how I've always been. That's how I'm always going to be. I don't change. I don't come off of that. And that's just what means the most to me is God himself. So we'll be all right. We'll figure it out. And in the meantime, here in the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, we got a week of show in a day. That means that the ingredients to success, which is typically on Tuesday, is going to be coming to you first. And that is brought to you by Avicolli's. Avicolli's is on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, down the street from Liverpool High School. If you stand at the corner where Avicolli's is, you can see Liverpool High School. It's where we have our Liverpool broadcasts every single month from, and you can go out and support them 7 days a week. They're now open on Mondays for lunch, dinner, and drinks. Head over to Avicolli's.
They're open on Mondays now?
They are now open on Mondays.
We could never go there because they weren't open on Mondays. Now I'm excited for the next time I come up.
Yes, they're open on Monday. They have extended into Monday. They had been closed on Mondays, and John Fratto wanted to extend out, and so they had a conversation, and everybody said, let's do it. And so here we are, open on Mondays, 7 days a week. Avicolli, 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York. And you could go there and, of course, get all those Italian specialties, incredible food. The wings are good. The pizza's good. The veal is good. The tortellinis are good. The soup is good, and on and on and on and on. The grandma's pie is fantastic. So fantastic that other people in central New York are trying to copy it now. While they say imitation's the highest form of flattery, I also think people should get new ideas. So if you're going to get grandma's pie, go to Avicolli's. And but I guess it makes sense because a lot of companies I work with, people copy, and people copy my company. So apparently we're the team that gets copied, and if you get copied, well, it means you're doing something right. So with that being said, we're going into the ingredients to success. And of course, you can go there for lunch, dinner, and drinks. As always, drink responsibly. Go to myavicollis.com to order online, and for catering, delivery, and takeout, call 315-622-5100. The topic for today with the ingredients to success, I've left it up to Murph here as far as what he was going to pick for me, and I picked for him to tell us the ingredients to success for a New York Mets 2025 season. They kept Pete Alonso. Kodai Senga, will he step up? We know that Juan Soto has switched Burrows, and I'm excited to kind of see what that's going to look like and feel like. And at the same time, I imagine the boos will be vast when it comes to when that Subway Series has Juan Soto going over into the Bronx again now that he's in Queens. But he feels good. The team feels good. So what are the ingredients to success, Murph, on the Mets this season?
I think the biggest thing is simply going to be the pitching staff. You know, we've had this conversation before, especially now that Manaea is going to miss some time. Frankie Montas is probably going to miss the first half of the season, and they're not looking externally.
Yeah.
You know, they brought in Griffin Canning, they bring back Paul Blackburn, they brought in, they still have Tyler McGill who can, come up and down from the minor leagues. They have plenty of depth in the starting rotation, but you also don't know what Clay Holmes is going to do in the rotation. So ultimately, I'm looking at this pitching staff, and I'm wondering really what they are going to be able to do to make this team successful. Now, am I expecting this team to go this year and go and win it all? Probably not. I expect them to make the playoffs and hopefully make another deep run. You still got to beat the Dodgers, and whoever plays the Dodgers is, in for a world of trouble unless maybe it's the Padres and maybe they knock them out and take care of business for us, which would be nice.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to come down to the pitching staff. They're going to need to stay healthy, and you're going to need some guys to rediscover themselves. Griffin Canning was statistically the worst pitcher in baseball based on pitchers who had thrown a certain amount of innings. I think it was 120 innings or something like that. Yeah. Had the worst ERA in baseball. But the Mets pitching lab has been one that has kind of been finding value in guys that other teams wouldn't.
Yeah.
So they've been able to help pitchers rediscover themselves and refine their deliveries and create new pitches for them and give them new weapons. I mean, Sean Manaea made a major mechanical change in the middle of the season, and it turned him into being a pretty good pitcher to a guy that got paid $75 million this offseason. So for starters, good for him for that. And even in Luis Severino's case, even though he's not back, he parlayed that success into a $60-something million contract with the A's. So I give him a lot of credit for that one. But it's going to be the pitching staff. I don't doubt the lineup. I'm not worried about the lineup in the slightest. I mean, Soto's already got 2 opposite field home runs in spring training. Pete's looking solid. Vientos is doing his thing. Brett Beatty looks like he found something this offseason. He may actually get some playing time. Jeff McNeil's hitting well in spring training, and I'm excited to see what they do. But it's gonna come down to the pitching staff for sure.
Yeah, what I'm excited about is something that you just said, because I had sold the one that I really liked, and thanks to
Not the one you got from me, right?
thanks to Josh Gideon. No, I did. I sold it a while
What?
back. So thanks to Josh Gideon,
Oh, that's sick.
I have the beautiful, and this is the on card, and it's with that silver autograph here. But these are my Beatties that I have now, and
So black silver ink on a black background is so sick.
and this is another on
That's a
card.
cool one.
Blue meets
I
blue.
think I had a Vientos of that same. Is that tier 1?
This is maybe. Yeah.
Because I think I had a
tier
Vientos
one.
or Alonso of that from that same series.
And then don't feel bad, Murph, because I got the color match one. So
Oh, okay. That I can understand that now.
yeah.
You sold the Aqua to get the color match. I am more than okay with that.
Yeah, so I got
But now you got to grade it.
right. So now I got the color match of this one. So yeah, that Josh had bought so much Brett Beatty's, the owner of GG Cards and Breaks, and he was starting to sell his collection last year, and I was like, you know what? I like Beatty. I sympathize with the Mets, and so I was like, I like Beatty. I want to see him do well. I'm going to keep believing in him. There's a friend of his that is a mutual friend of mine, so I decided to bank on Beatty and keep it rocking and rolling. So my Beatties are right here. They sit just off of screen, so I'm more than okay with having them here and hoping for the best as he continues to grow and blossom into the player that he will become. So, Beatty, just so you know, somebody believes in you, brother. I know plenty of people.
I just wish you would have picked a different number.
That's all right.
And I was having this conversation last week with some people that were waiting to get to meet Jose Reyes, and I know we didn't get to talk about that last week because I had to go, but I still got the jersey, so we could talk about it later because I actually don't have anywhere to be right now. Yeah, I wish you would have picked a different number. To be honest, I just don't think anyone else should wear number 7 for the Mets. I just don't like it.
Yeah,
But that's just me. That's something that.
Yeah, I mean, it's something. It's like, I mean, I know some people had some issue with one of Syracuse's numbers that went out this year, number 44. Eddie Lampkin is wearing it, and obviously it was worn by Derek Coleman. It was worn by John Wallace. 44 is an important number to football, but people forget that it's also a very important number to basketball as well. So it's very important to football. It's also important to basketball. It's worn by some of the greats at Syracuse, but Eddie Lampkin is a double-double machine no matter what happens this year, so give the man some flowers. You have my topic for the ingredients to success, Murph, so I'll let you announce it.
So I think this is a good one. And it's my dad's going to like this conversation because he's been following this team for the last handful of years. Obviously, he's a Stony Brook grad, and he loved it when Stony Brook made the NCAA tournament, but they got blown out by Kentucky in the first round. So I kind of felt bad for him with that. But this team has been a team he's kind of liked for a little while, and I want to hear what your thoughts are on their ingredients to potentially winning a national championship this year with Coach Rick Pitino and the St. John's Red Storm.
Yeah, the St. John's Red Storm, and I appreciate this, and it was funny because Murph told me before the show, he goes, "You're not going to be able to guess the team that I'm picking."
I was wrong, folks.
And I guessed it. But so the St. John's Red Storm, and I appreciate this question because it's something that's been on my mind for a while. And when I look at St. John's, when I look at this team, to me, the biggest ingredient to success is Rick Pitino. Now, Rick Pitino, to get into this, and it makes sense, right? Because we're talking about ingredients to success, we're talking about Avicolli's, we're talking about Italian food, we're talking about the color red, and we're talking about an Italian man. So, I mean, you think about it, the guy looks like Pacino, kind of at times acts like Pacino, and he's Italian. Avicolli's Italian. St. John's red. So it makes sense that we're making the sauce essentially here. And the
Yeah.
biggest ingredient to the sauce of the Red Storm is Rick Pitino. Rick Pitino is he was the change. And I'm going to go back to go forward. So Rick Pitino, he's at Louisville, and there's this back and forth of what's going to happen. They decide to let him go. There's allegations. There's different things going on with recruits and stuff that's very unsavory. They it's like issue, and then he stays, and then another, and it's like things compound onto each other, and eventually Rick Pitino is let go. The athletic director is let go. Louisville's trying to figure themselves out, and they transition into a new era. When he leaves, the question becomes, what's going to happen? I said, he's not done coaching. This is what Rick Pitino does. Okay? Rick Pitino is the crime boss of college basketball. He's not going anywhere. And so he leaves for a little while, right? And people say, well, oh, what's going to happen to Rick and da-da-da-da-da, and we're worried and blah, blah, blah. And I'm not worried at all because I covered Rick Pitino. I've interviewed Rick Pitino. And obviously him being a part of the Big East before, spent a lot of time with Rick Pitino because remember that Rick Pitino was an assistant under Jim Boeheim a long time ago. He went to Providence after that and eventually went to Louisville. When he went to Louisville, I had the opportunity to speak with him. It was my first ever Big East Media Day. It was downtown. It was in New York City, Manhattan. I think it was in Manhattan. And we're in the heart of this city. We're in this old Ghostbusters type building. And in this building, there's this, and it's like the old building, the old look of it, inside, outside, the thing that would have gargoyles on it. And we go into this carpeted room, and you think to yourself, like, people probably have filmed movies in here. There's probably been like like it looked like a Game of Thrones place. The carpet to what you could do inside of there. Anything the Big East does, you have to understand, people. Anything the Big East does, and John Paquette, I hope you're listening, anything that they do is not small, it's not tiny, it's grandiose, and it's always like it's like being on the set of a movie. And so going to this event, you walk in here, and I like wheel in my stuff, and I'm looking around, and I'm getting ready to do my interviews, and it's just carpeted, and it's just you're just taking it all in. You're looking outside at the city streets, and you're saying to yourself, man, there's nothing like the Big East. And I still feel that way. And so I go up to Rick Pitino, and it's when Syracuse was leaving for the ACC, and I talk with Rick Pitino. And when I spoke with Mr. Pitino, he said, now they were going back and forth. The media was trying to like jar him and Boeheim back and forth. So they would ask Jim Boeheim, like, what do you think about moving, da-da-da-da. They would ask Rick. Rick said something about Jim. So now they go back to Jim and say, well, Rick just said this about you. And then he says something, and then they go back to Rick and say, guess what he just said, and blah, blah, blah. And so I remember my first question that I ever asked Rick Pitino in my life was, what are your thoughts on realignment? It was along the lines of, what are your thoughts on realignment? Syracuse is leaving, other teams are leaving, Pitt's leaving, but Louisville is still in the Big East. What is your take on realignment, and where do you think it's at, and do you think we're finally done? Is it calm? He said to me that Louisville was happy where they weren't going anywhere, and he thought that like the final chips essentially were falling for realignment, and they were comfortable where they are. Looked me in the eye, lied to my face. And so they went on to, I mean, maybe he didn't know at that time. I just found it was funny because I was like, man, the first time I interviewed Rick Pitino, and then right after that, Louisville jumps and follows. So he had kind of gone back and forth with Jim Boeheim, razzing him a little bit. And then Louisville follows Syracuse into the ACC. He's in the ACC for a long time. He's a pain in the butt. His press is a nightmare. Syracuse still couldn't figure out how to beat it more often than not. And so we see that. We see his evolution. Now, keep in mind of something here. When we go back to his story, he was a head coach at Hawaii first. After he's an assistant at Syracuse, he's with Boeheim and all that stuff. So he's in Hawaii. Then he goes to Boston University. Both of them were independent at the time. Then Boston joined the ECACN. And then Providence for a couple seasons in the Big East. Then he went to Kentucky of the SEC, faced off against Syracuse in the national championship game, beat Syracuse in the 95-96 Cuses in the house, oh my God season. You can see that sign that's right over right over here. So that inside of the studio, and that was John Wallace, Otis Hill, Jason Cipolla, a bunch of my friends, Todd Bergen, and so on and so forth. He leaves Kentucky but stays in the state, goes to Louisville. Louisville's in the Conference USA after being in the SEC with Kentucky. Then with Louisville, he goes to 3 different conferences. He's in Conference USA, he goes to the Big East, then he goes to the ACC, then he goes to Iona. Now keep in mind, there's 3 years in between. So 2016 to 2017, he coaches at Louisville, he gets let go. He goes to Iona in 2020, 2021. So he joins them during COVID when all these things were happening that nobody was paying attention to. You remember COVID? Remember what was happening back then? NIL was pushed through. The transfer portal opened up even more so, and all these things are happening. Restrictions went away. I feel like COVID was used to push a lot of things through society that would have never made it if we were not paying attention to something as big as a pandemic. And so he comes back in 2020, 2021 at Iona inside of the MAC, the MAAC. And when he comes into this team with the Gales, I'm not surprised. People are like, oh, Pitino's back. And I was smirking in my studio. And then after 3 years at Iona, there's this big deal that comes forward in 2023-24 that he joined St. John's and the Red Storm in the Big East. And people are like, oh, man, look at this big move. And I was like, I could have told you it was going to happen. When he went into the Big East, I was not surprised at all. Because what Rick Pitino essentially did, and it happens all times in entertainment, is that somebody has something, right, that maybe murkies their reputation and their legacy. So something happens, we see they kind of disappear, they take on a smaller thing over here, and then they re-emerge somewhere else. And so I always thought Rick Pitino was going to take a little hiatus, take a little time to himself, and then find his way back. So finding my way back to the ingredients to success, Rick Pitino is the most important ingredient to success because nobody in the Big East, in my opinion, wanted this guy to be in the Big East. There is not a single team that would want to see them in here, UConn and Dan Hurley included especially, to see that this type of fight is here. St. John's was an awful team in recent history. St. John's barely won any games. St. John's was never a factor when we came to looking at things, and when we came to looking at them in the NCAA tournament, they were an NIT team. So we can look and say, well, this player and that player and put all these pieces together. But the master puppeteer is Rick Pitino. And Rick Pitino knows how to orchestrate these strings. He knows how to move things in different places. This man is incredibly intelligent when it comes to defense. This man is going to, he's in his 70s, mind you, folks. This man is in his 70s, but you wouldn't know it because Rick Pitino, this is what he does. He lives and breathes basketball. So for my ingredients to success when it comes to St. John's, am I surprised that the team is doing well? No. I am color me surprised that they're in the top 10, that this is a top 10 ranked team right now, because my thought on this is that they wouldn't be this high this quickly. But kudos to them in getting there, and kudos to Rick Pitino and the work that he has done. This is only his second season at St. John's, and yes, they have talent, but this is the guy that brings about the talent. This is the guy that people believe in. Rick Pitino is the ingredient that wherever he goes, you will have success. Iona had success under Rick Pitino. Kentucky won a national championship under Rick Pitino. Louisville won a national championship under Rick Pitino. Whether or not they want to take that thing away and pretend that it didn't exist, I was standing on the court with Mike Oresco when that happened. And so my eyes saw it. I felt it. I noticed it. It happened. It's part of history. It happened in the old Georgia Dome. You can knock the dome down and the NCAA could put white out in their books, but that championship happened. So Rick Pitino is a champion upon being a champion. This is a guy who can go anywhere and change a team. But going to the Big East, for me, this is Rick Pitino's resurgence into who he is. He wants to delete all that negative stuff from memory. He doesn't want you to even think about anything past Louisville of him winning a national championship. He wants you to focus on the fact that he is a national champion in multiple, this is in my opinion, not his, this is me speaking. He wants you to focus on all the good that he's brought, everything that he's done, and dare I say that he's just getting started. Most of these coaches that like the old way of doing things, which I agree with, the traditional way of doing things, those coaches have left. And Rick Pitino was like, well, what if I stay? What if I prove I can win despite all of these odds? Despite NIL, despite the transfer portal? Who says I can't make it happen? So what are their odds of winning a national championship? I wouldn't want to play St. John's. If they're an 8-9 seed, they're dangerous. If they're a 1 seed, they're dangerous. If they're a 3 seed, which I think maybe they could end up being a 3 seed, 2 seed, they're dangerous. The Big East tournament, they're dangerous. I would love to see UConn St. John's for the Big East championship, in my opinion, this season. So my ingredient to success is the ingredient that never gets old. It is that spice that your grandmother put in her cabinet years ago that she's used on so much food for decades, and then when she passed away and you were cleaning out her cabinet, you were checking dates on everything, and this spice had no dates on it, so you put it in your house, and then you used it on your food, and you're not dead yet, and this thing's been used for now probably 4 or 5 decades, and it continues to make the food taste good. And by the way, I actually did that in life to show that I have a tough Italian stomach. So Rick Pitino is the ingredient that has no date, it has no expiration, it can be used at any time, anywhere, any place. And St. John's has one of the best ingredients because they have a coach that decided to stay when the coaches of the old regime decided to leave. And I think he is one of the best ingredients for college basketball. I am not surprised that he is successful, and I will not be surprised when they upend some teams and really, truly take March Madness and make it even crazier than it has been. Because, baby girl, Pitino is back.
Yeah, he is. And you know what it is for St. John's? So St. John's really kind of got back on the map when Chris Mullen came in there and took over the team. I think he only was there for maybe 3 or 4 years or 5 years or something like that. But that was kind of when he took over that team. There was a lot of guys, from the greater New York area that would go there and got better under Chris Mullen, and that team started to become relevant again. Not necessarily making the NCAA tournament every year, but they went from a team that was consistently in the NIT as a middling seed to a team that was, they could make March Madness if they went on a little bit of a run, right? And then Chris Mullen leaves. I think there was a gap for a year or two, and then Rick Pitino comes in and has taken this program from being, a middling program that's, on the borderline of maybe being able to make the tournament to number 7 in the country.
Yeah.
They might be a 2 seed in the tournament.
Yeah.
If they run the table in the Big East and maybe some of the top teams lose, there's a non-zero chance that they can get a 1 seed. It's not impossible.
No.
Do I think it's going to happen? No, but they're either going to be a 2 or 3 seed. I will probably pick them to go deep. I'm willing to bet you my dad picks them to be the national champions. But they're shooing for the tournament. And do you know if there's any coach that's ever won a national championship at 3 schools? I know 2 schools has been done.
Yeah, I got to think about this now. So 3, not him. Not him. So yeah, I would say
I doubt it.
Of all the coaches that I can no, I don't think he did. I would say I don't think there's been a head coach that I can recall that has won a national championship in men's basketball Division I at 3 different institutions.
I think you're right. I don't think anyone has either.
No, because Coach K never won one anywhere else but Duke. I'm running through all the names and my Hall of Famers in my brain right now.
Not Roy Williams, right?
Roy won in 2 different places. One different. No.
Yeah.
No, he didn't win. Did he win it? He didn't win at Kansas. He won at North Carolina. So, because Syracuse beat him in 2003 when he was at Kansas. So, yeah, I would think if Rick Pitino was able to do it, I would imagine he's the only one to win a national championship in 3 different places.
That would be some impressive story if they can pull that off. But I'm excited to see what they have in store. I've been kind of rooting for them, because obviously my dad, we'll talk about it a little bit, and every once in a while they're like, hey, you see St. John's is up in the, they're in the top 15 now, or now they're top 10. I didn't realize they were 7. We haven't talked about it in a little while, but
Yeah.
um, yeah, I'm really excited to see what they do. Obviously, if they play in a national championship against my Florida Gators, I will be rooting for the Gators.
Yeah.
However, I would not be necessarily disappointed if St. John's won. So I'm really excited to see what happens, and I'm glad you were able to articulate that as well as you did, especially giving you that at the last second. It sounds like that's something you're pretty passionate about,
Oh, yeah.
because I don't think you've really talked about St. John's all that much on the show, right?
No, so I've covered St. John's, interviewed St. John's,
Well,
obviously.
I mean
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah, no, well, this year for Big East Media Day, this season, back in October, we did interviews with the Big East down in New York City. So I did speak to St. John's. It's the way that they have the interview session. I like it, but it's also difficult a little bit in the sense of when Patino and Hurley are out there, like you have to hang from the rafters in order to do an interview, and because there's so many people that are there. Like I got up because I saw other people do it, and I was like, well, they're not kicking them out. So I got up onto the podium and like leaned forward toward Dan Hurley. There was so many people there. It was like being on the red carpet for some movie premiere. It was insane. But Patino, now that he's back, he gets a lot of fanfare as well. But I did get to speak to the St. John's players, and definitely got to cover St. John's going in. And I will absolutely be paying attention now with everything with St. John's. So I'm excited. My coverage of the Big East continues, and I'm very much looking forward to this. I think it's good for basketball that Patino is still here, and I think it's good for basketball that they're winning. So I mean, it's exciting. But yeah, you picked a good one, Murph. I had no idea what he was going to pick, and I made a guess right before we went on air, and had no notes in here because I didn't know that was going to be it. And I was like, all right, well, if we're talking St. John's, I know where I'm going. So yeah, Patino, definitely incredible. Which brings us to the next segment of today's broadcast. So we go from talking about the ingredients to success to talking about something annoying. And guess what? We can't do it without hearing it first.
Dan Tortora proudly brings you
Is that for real? Are you kidding me?
the annoying moment of the week.
I really honestly, I don't know how to respond to this.
Presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It's what happy tastes like.
Do you have to be that crazy? I guess so. The annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. I now defer once again to Murph to give us his annoying moment, and then I will give you mine.
I was having trouble figuring this out last night when you had texted me that we were doing everything. For me, there are certain aspects of fitting for, and you know what I'm gonna do. I kind of was between two, and I kind of decided I made my decision on what I'm gonna do now.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna tie my annoying moment of the week into the top dog of the week.
Okay.
And I'll get back to that later. But I think for me, annoying moment of the week has to, and it's gonna have something to do with work. So don't get on me too much about that. But we did a fitting event with Golf Tech in East Hanover.
Yeah.
And the event was great. But Sunday, we had what I would consider to be not such a good day because of how short the fitting appointments were. And I had basically no time to really be thorough with somebody to figure out what they should be playing.
Yeah.
So for me, that was incredibly annoying. And I'll get back to it. I'll come back to it later because the top dog of the week is, I guess I'll be spoiling it, but it has to do with this event.
Okay.
But there were great things about this event, and there were not so great things about this event. Sunday with the 15-minute time slots and not enough time to actually fit people was definitely the most annoying thing that happened this week.
Okay. Fair enough. My annoying moment of the week is an annoying moment that I've had for many weeks, but I have not articulated it on this show in this way. And it lead as the annoying moment of the week does all the time. And I don't do this on purpose. This is God's interwoven way that things happen here on the show. As I talk about something in one segment and it leads right into the other segment. And while I'm doing it in my head, I'm like, oh, okay. I guess that like completely married the two together. But my annoying moment of the week is the fact that we have media, so much of it, that is seemingly within an agenda. And being a media person, and I tell people this all the time, being in the media, being around the media, seeing behind the scenes. See, so many people think they know what's behind the curtain, but I'm actually behind the curtain. And to go behind the curtain and then come back out and speak, lying, cheating, stealing, fabricating, sensationalizing, it happens. My annoying moment of the week is when I watch something or I hear something or I see something in the media, and I know that Murph can lean on this as well because him and I have similar views on this. So much of the media is owned by 90% of it, if not more, leans one way. And when the media is almost completely controlled by one group or one overseeing idea or ideology, that is called, wait for it, censorship. Censoring the media, and I think a lot of us have felt it. I have felt it. I have had Facebook do wild things to me that make no sense. I did an interview with a female broadcaster, and we were from the head up, or we were from the neck up. So it was this. This is all you could see of her. This is all you could see of me. And here we are talking to each other, and we're talking about football. Facebook flagged it as pornography. Never
What?
seen this in my life. It was her and I speaking about sports, just two heads talking. And Facebook flagged that. I fought it, and within 6 minutes, Facebook said, "You're right, we're wrong." But they had pushed it. They had whatever they had done to the algorithm by fabricating what this wasn't. They had pushed it so deep down that they were claiming like 40 people watched the video, 50 people. We had 800 people watching videos, and this video with the content that we were doing and this person who's on television and doing all the stuff, whatever, they were trying to claim, oh, this is only seen by 45 people. Only 50 people saw this. And I've heard this happen to other people. It's happened to Joe Rogan. It's happened to Tucker Carlson. It's happened to a lot of people. Now, we weren't talking politics. We were talking sports, but it was suppressed. And I have seen things happen, and I've been around them, right? And the media's fabrication, the media lying to you. I mean, I sat in a post-game press conference room, and this is where you feel like the media kind of colludes together, and if you don't, you're on the outside. There's like 30 media people at a Syracuse event at a football game 2 seasons ago. I asked LaQuint Allen Jr. a question. LaQuint Allen was only asked 3 questions, and one of the guys asked the same question that I asked him, and my buddy in the back goes, "What? Did he just ask the exact same question?" I said, yeah, because he wants the quote, and he doesn't want to give me credit probably. Or he wasn't listening. So I'm in this room. LaQuint looks at me and answers my question. The video is only on LaQuint. I so happen to be... I never watch the news in Syracuse because they lie, cheat, and steal. And it's my city, and it's disgusting. So not everybody. I can only speak to the sports departments that are awfully handled in most cases. Stephen Fonte's an upstanding guy. He hired me years ago, and I know that he has morals and values because I actually got to be around him. The other people that I'm around, well, we'll leave them unnamed. So when I look at... And the thing is, this is not a show where I'm attacking people. I don't think it's right for people to lie to you and for you to think they tell the truth. And so I'm not going to say who did this, but I'm going to tell you the story. So I'm talking to LaQuinn Allen. Everybody in the room knows I'm talking to LaQuinn Allen. This is where I call collusion. And so I'm talking to LaQuinn. I happen to be watching the news that I never watch because I don't want to see my stuff stolen. And it's happened so much that when I watch the news, it turns my stomach that people are not giving me credit or anybody credit, and they're just stealing people's work. So I got the news on because I was doing something else. I was working on my computer in my bedroom. News comes on, guy and a girl that I know them both. They say, we spoke to LaQuinn Allen. And after the game, when we talked to him, this is what he said to us. And then they played the video of him at the podium looking at me, but you can't see me. And it was the direct thing. Now, if they said, this is what LaQuinn Allen said after the game, this is where LaQuinn Allen's thoughts in the post-game press conference, this is LaQuinn after da-da-da, fine. Okay? They find a way around giving me credit. But when they say, we spoke to LaQuinn, and this is what he said when we talked to him, and then nobody in the media said anything. So, stolen, fabricated, nobody calls it out, except for me because it was my work. And so my annoying moment of the week is that I came into broadcasting, I came into journalism because it's my passion. It's one of my passions. And I did not think that I would be coming in here as one of the only honest people. Now, I've met a lot of good people. I will never say that all journalists are bad or all broadcasters are bad because that's simply not true. And I wouldn't want to be typecast. What I can say is that the overwhelming majority of people that I've met in the media in my hometown, they do not care about who they steal from, and they think they'll get away with it. Now, every once in a while, somebody calls it out, but I feel like it needs to be called out. When I walk into this room, these people won't look at me. They won't talk to me. I'm a ghost. And then I go home, and my quotes are in their stories, and my videos are on there, this and that and whatever. And I mean, I've broken news before, and they waited 4 hours for somebody else to break the news. And then they were like, oh, breaking news, because they could not retweet my tweet. And I don't know what it is, Murph. I don't know why. We've talked about it. I don't know why I'm the black sheep. I have been honest. I believe in God. I have morals. I have values. I work hard. I build relationships. I don't burn bridges. Even when bridges could easily be burned because of the person on the other side, I've tried to keep the bridge going. So, I mean, I've done everything in my power in my life to the best of my ability to be an upstanding citizen, an upstanding broadcaster, an upstanding man of God. But my annoying moment of the week is I got to a point where I thought, oh, I think that was stolen. Oh, I think that was stolen. To the point where Sports Illustrated had something of mine, ESPN had something of mine, Fox had something of mine, and I had friends reaching out to me saying, guess what? You just interviewed Rex Ryan. That's on the bottom line ticker at ESPN. Guess what? This guy just took credit for your work. This guy just took credit for... I mean, I remember Ross, when I interviewed Rex Ryan in a press conference, there was 7 or 8 different people and or networks, seven or 8 different avenues that had laid claim to my work. And these are people that like you trust, that you think like this guy knows everything, he gets everywhere. That one of the guys that laid claim to something that I did in Miami, he wasn't in Miami, he wasn't at practice, he didn't talk to anybody at practice. Like he claimed that he was there doing all this stuff, and he wasn't even physically there. So, like, to me, it was my work. So I know that by calling this out, the people that hate my guts might hate me more, but there's no reason to hate me in the first place. I have done my work, and I've been treated like a black sheep, Murph. And the more that I've done, and the bigger we've gotten, and the more connections we've made, and the more people we've reached, the more I see my stuff stolen, to the point where I do not watch the news in my own city because I don't want to see it anymore. So that's my annoying moment of the week.
Can I also bring up an honorable mention that I think was an annoying moment for every single person that lives in America?
Go ahead.
Well, maybe half the country, about Zelensky coming into the Oval Office and demanding more money and telling the president that, war is going to be on your doorstep if you don't give us more money. Like, who the hell does he think he is?
Well,
I understand that country is being destroyed right now, but we're not your First Bank of America funding the war in Ukraine.
I will
Get your
say,
own help. Figure it out yourself.
I'll say a couple things about that. Should leaders of nations be squabbling like children on a playground at recess? Both of them. No. But here's the thing that I've also said to people when they're like, oh my gosh, what Trump did, because I've talked to people that love it, and they're like, he stood up for this country, he's not giving away money, putting his foot down, we're not a bank for everybody, there's not an endless amount of money that comes in. By the way, for people that hate Trump, Joe Biden allegedly also had a problem with Zelensky not being grateful, so it's on both sides of the coin. But then Zelensky, on his side, so you look at Trump and say, okay, he stood up for the country, what could we have done with all these billions of dollars? And then we look at, and then here's my other thing, and I'll hit this in a minute. I'm going to put that off to the side, but I'll remember it. So Trump on one side says, we're not a bank. Zelensky on his side says, well, we don't deserve to be invaded. They're both right. The art of the deal, I think, is what Trump is looking at. So he's not going to publicly defame Putin, which people want him to do. He's not going to publicly defame Putin because he has to bring Putin to the table. So if he spits on him, he's not going to get him to the table. He understands that. Do you know how many times I've had to be the bigger person, Murph, in a place of business where I've had to look at a boss who lied to my face, who laughed in my face and did not give me what they promised me, and I had to respectfully continue to do my job and handle myself in such a way that I don't burn a bridge? I have had to do that. I have watched my bosses sexually harass people, and I have sat there and been like, this is insane. This is incredibly uncalled for. This is out of this world. I mean, I've sat in rooms and heard things that people that were responsible for hiring and firing me, they've said and done things that I would never, ever do. So when I look at Zelensky and I look at Trump, I understand the art of the deal. Zelensky went in there emotional. You can't do that when you're making a deal.
And he also didn't bring a plan for peace either.
Right. So,
which is kind of one of the requirements of that meeting.
So he didn't come in necessarily emotionally ready, right? Trump is the type. So being in business for as long as I've had and working on partnerships, Trump is one of those people that within the first 30 seconds, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, if you don't tell him something concrete that's going to show results, he's going to go to his next meeting. That's how I see him. So Zelensky didn't speak in a way that Trump was going to go, okay, this makes sense. And then Trump got emotional. It's not good either way. But let me put this to you. And I've put this in to people that said Trump was 100% wrong, Zelensky did everything right. Americans are conditioned by the media. This is where I'm going to try and blow somebody's mind. You are conditioned by the media that if anything goes against Russia, that thing is pure, good, never wrong, totally exonerated from anything. Whoever fights against Russia is the white knight. They are the superhero. Russia is always the Joker. Anybody else is Superman, Batman, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, whatever you want to call them. I threw a curveball into this and said, what if Zelensky and Putin are both crooked and Trump is trying to deal with two crooked nations? One was invaded, but just because they had been invaded doesn't mean that you want to help out a crooked partner. So what if we throw a hat into the ring and say that Trump knows that Zelensky can't be trusted and Putin can't be trusted, so he's nobody's friend, but he has to appear to be in a way to get this done. So then they would say, well, he wasn't Zelensky's friend, so he must be Putin's friend. Now, the reality of it all is this man has to get a deal
by his
done.
Third party.
Right. He has to get a deal done. But the monkey wrench that I throw into this is people think whatever versus Russia, that whatever is a good thing. Because Russia is bad. That's what Americans have been taught. And so if Russia is bad and everything else against them is good, what if they're not? What if there are problems in Ukraine? What if there are things that Trump sees that the national government sees that you don't see? The media doesn't see. Nobody's going to see behind the scenes. By the way, the other monkey wrench I'm throwing into this is, you think that no other president, Democrat or Republican, had a conversation like that with another world leader? It just was never on camera. See, Trump wants to have government transparency, and in this case, it worked against him because the majority of the media hates his guts. So even if he got a deal done, they would have said he did it wrong. Even if he did a good job, they would have said he did it wrong. Even if he made a joke, they would have been that joke was serious and it was uncalled for and it was distasteful. No matter what Trump did in that meeting, 90% of the media was going to hate him because they can't see straight, because they're following a narrative until the death of their brand. So that's where they are. Okay? I look at things in an approach of, if I like this person or I'm not fond of this person, let me look at it impartially. Impartially looking at this, both of them handled things not great, but I called up my dad and I go, are we supposed to believe that Bill Clinton never yelled at somebody? Are we supposed to believe that Obama never had an argument with somebody? Are we supposed to believe that Bush never disagreed? You know, the only thing that was different is, for the first time in the history of the presidency that I know of, we saw a peace talk happen live in front of the media where we could all see it and critique it. And so one of Trump's biggest positives is also something that people treat as his downfall. Because he is an entertainer, because he is a person that believes in transparency and putting things out there and showing us the problems in the government, he wants to put it out there to show you. He wants to put it out there for ratings. He wants to put it out there for entertainment. He wants you to be out there entertainment-wise and transparency-wise to show you what's happening in the government. But the downfall of that is his critics are, the more you give them, the more they have to critique. So no matter what he did in this meeting, Murph, he was going to be scrutinized. You know that.
Oh, sure.
But the reality of it all is, he doesn't have to agree. He doesn't have to be a bank account. Zelensky's been invaded. That's a bad thing. And the other thing I would say to this, there's so many layers, is if Zelensky's talking about Europe, I would have combated him in my way. I would have handled it differently. I would have, I don't think raising your voice is going to work in these things. But, I mean, you can raise, but they got to a point where they were just like yelling at each other like kids. But when we look, well, not yelling, but talking loudly. So if I was talking to Zelensky and he brought up Europe, I would have said, if their bank account's so big and their military help is so great, why the hell are you on my doorstep? That's what I would have said. Now, I know he said it in his way and he did things in his way, but that would have been my question to him. If Europe is such a great partner of Ukraine, why are you here? Because that, to me, should tell you what it needs to tell you. Because what it sounds like to me is he's jockeying the two against each other. Maybe Europe offered something, he's seeing what America's offering. Or maybe Europe's not offering that much of anything at all, but you go back and forth. See, Trump is somebody who deals in business, and he is a businessman. So if you come to him saying, well, the guy across the street said he's going to give me 3 times what you're going to give me, so now I want you to change your deal, he's going to call your bluff. He might call that company across the street. So to me, there's a lot of different things going on in this. Zelensky, if I were him, I would not leave America until I got back in that White House, until I apologized for my attitude and I got things right. And I would apologize if I was Zelensky, because you're asking the help of another nation. So whether you like that nation's leader or not, you're asking their help. By the way, he campaigned for Trump's competition during the election. So you're coming to the doorstep of a man that you want help from, that you want money from, that you want resources from, after campaigning for his opponent. That's a ballsy move. And you really don't need to add on to anything that you've already put on that fire. So I think Zelensky coming in and Trump even meeting with him, because he could have been bitter. Other presidents might have turned around. I mean, I shouldn't say other president, but anybody could have turned around and said, you campaigned for the other person. Get out of my office. I'm not giving you anything. If you wanted money, then they should have been president. Screw you. I'm going to keep a grudge. And he could have done that. Now, people in 90% of the media say that Trump is that man. He's a grudge man. Well, if that was the case, he wouldn't have met with Zelensky. So that's wrong.
Exactly.
But
he wouldn't have met with him because he wants peace.
But the
He
reality,
doesn't want the war to keep going on.
nobody should want this war to keep going on.
Clearly, Zelensky does. Does want to keep the war going.
But the reality is, when you go into somebody's office and you've gotten all this help already, you campaigned for their opponent, you stood next to their opponent on a stage, you don't have a lot of wiggle room because this person has already had enough of you. So, my enemies want to be friends with my other enemies. I don't let it get to me. That's a line by Drake in a song. So you got Zelensky with Kamala, and now he wants to come and be friends with Trump. You have Zuckerberg and Facebook doing all kinds of wild stuff during the 2020 election, and now he wants to be friends with Trump. So if I'm Trump, I would say, do these people want to be my friend? Or are these people just going, oh crap, he's in office, I better pretend like I like this guy for the next 4 years because I went after him, now he's going to come after me. So there's a very short leash that I don't think these people understand that they have. And in that respect, Trump, Obama, Biden, whoever, if you disrespect somebody and you go against them and you try to censor media against them, then I would think I have very little wiggle room when I go into that office, and I would be on my best behavior. That's one. The two part of it for Trump is, in the future, have these meetings behind closed doors if you're gonna have it out and this and that. I mean,
100% agree there.
I'm for transparency, but this media is not prepared to cover you impartially because they're not competent. So in that world, I mean, think about it. If 90% of the media leans in one direction, and Biden had a meeting where he got heated, they would say, I can't believe Zelensky disrespected Biden. But because the majority of the media hates Trump, then, and I'm just talking about realities here, because the majority of the media hates Trump or pretends to hate Trump, and that's their narrative, no matter what, if he had signed a deal and he had gotten the deal done, they would have said he missed something, he did something wrong, he took too much, he took too little. How dare he ask for minerals for a country that's been invaded? There's nothing that Trump can do right with 90% of the media. He knows that, I know that, you know that. That's called media censorship. That is why it's my annoying moment of the week, because I don't care about the party, I don't care about the president. Whoever it is, whenever it is, I am for media freedom, media openness, and checks and balances happening in the media in the right way. I've been checked and balanced for copyright stuff of non-copywritten things and my own voice. I have had to fight major networks to take my question and the answer that was given to it. So whatever the freedom of the internet and the freedom of media is not true. And for the vast majority of the world that doesn't live in the media, they don't know the truth. If you just spit out bullet points that you saw on television, that doesn't make you smart. It doesn't make you intelligent. It doesn't make you knowledgeable or have any wisdom. I'm living it, and I can tell you, no outlet has ever come to me telling me somebody has stolen my stuff, asked me about copyright, and protected my business. I have had to protect myself from erratic, strange, obscene, absolute disrespect of freedom, but I have not been protected. So the reality of it all is the media needs a mass overhaul. It needs a mass cleansing, and something needs to happen to the media in America to prevent us from becoming China, North Korea, or Russia. That's my opinion.
Don't disagree with you one bit there, but I love how you were kind of able to tie that all together in just a nice, neat little bow.
Well, unfortunately, it ties itself together. So that
you're not wrong at all.
So we'll take a step aside here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. We'll be back after this with Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-lib, and Deliver. The topic is going off of what we're saying. How do you have a conversation with someone who differs in their opinion? I'll tell you, a lot of people in America, they don't. But we're going to try and tell you how you can sit with people of differing views, different religions, different backgrounds, different nationalities, different languages, and actually have a cup of coffee. Oh my goodness, are we about to break the internet? Probably. It's coming up after this.
Yeah.
Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McInerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Brian and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Brian and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Brian's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Brian's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Here is a special message from Brian Bruno, owner of Servomation Refreshments Incorporated.
I grew up in the family business. Had the experience of working for a national food service company with thousands of employees. And as much as I enjoyed the experience I had, there's something about, owning my own company and being able to change the things I saw wrong with the industry firsthand, which is why I moved back to my hometown in Canastota, New York to launch Servomation. It was back in 2007. When we first started the business in 2007, really you didn't find any machines with credit card readers. There's a lack of variety in machines. You got stuck with basically whatever the vending company wanted to sell that day. There's a lot of inefficiencies in the business, and those were all things that we saw as opportunities, both from a customer level to improve and from an operating level to be more efficient. We've really been at the forefront of introducing retail technology into our space. We were doing self-checkout back in 2009 before it really became a national phenomenon. The whole point of it isn't to just improve the customer experience. It's to make it feel more like a retail environment where people don't have to be afraid of what they're buying behind glass. They don't have to be afraid of not being able to see the ingredients of the packages. It was an easy transaction from that standpoint. If we were to reinvent something, we wanted to make sure what we were making looked and felt more like a deli and not like something that you would traditionally see in a vending machine. I was tired of hearing for years the customers say the wheel of death because the vending machine would circle around with the same tuna salad in it. What we wanted to do was it really changed the perception of that food. So allowing customers to touch it, allowing customers to feel the weight of it, allowing customers to see the freshness of it, and also the variety of it really helps them change the perception and ultimately the value of what we bring to them. The point of differentiation you have to make is either in value or the quality. And I think on both of those fronts, Servomation has really, in large part, changed that value system for employees. So they no longer have to worry about bringing their food from home or having to leave their desk during the day and rush out to get back in time for their break to end. We're bringing something that they can count on in their break room every day, and they know it's going to be there, they know it's going to be fresh, and they don't have to worry about it being sold out or something that they don't enjoy. We've also heavily invested in flavored water machine, so you can get a glass of water with a fresh piece of fruit in it, along with bean to cup coffee machine. So there's not a day that goes by we're not surprised when we get customers that call us and say, we didn't know you could do all this. We're really lucky to have a strong group of dedicated employees. Most of our employees have been with us since inception. They're family to us, and people like doing business with people they like and trust. And I think the same thing goes for employees. In a day and an age where there's a lot of corporations that just look at an employee as a number and don't get to know them, that's just not the way I was raised or how I like to do business. So we're a little old-fashioned. We like getting close to our employees. We like knowing how we can help them. We like know how we can improve their lives, adjust their schedules, whatever it may be to help improve their quality of life. And we think in the end that makes for a happier employee. We're fortunate enough to have really grown over the last several years, and from Pennsylvania to Massachusetts to Connecticut, we really do have a strong connection, even though we're not in the rooms every day with these employees. There's not one single employee that we feel like we don't know, and certainly we know they can call us at any time, and they're definitely treated as family to us. I wake up every single day really excited to surprise our customers in a good way. The one thing I can tell you is I think that every one of our employees and every one of our customers will continue to be at the forefront of every decision we make.
Find out how Servomation can help you and your business by going to servomation.com.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
And welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We are here inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Great Lakes Honda City you can find by going to 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Let them know the DT sent you. Monday through Saturday, head out there for sales and service, and you can see their vast array of vehicles by getting a little sneak peek at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. That's GreatLakesHondaCity.com. If you are living in central and upstate New York and you're not driving a car for Great Lakes Honda City, you're probably swerving a lot. So please make sure that you get yourself over to Great Lakes Honda City. Even when you slide in this weather, I am so thankful. My car, we have had a treacherous winter. and my vehicle, I slid a couple days ago. I was going down a hill, and there was cars everywhere, and I was able to slide and guide and get myself off to another road. I mean, this car, and I could say I love my CRV. I've loved CRVs forever, but for a very long time, my first car was one, 1999 Honda CRV. My CRV that I have now, I can't tell you how many times on the road this winter that it has helped me feel safer. And so I want to thank them. I also want to thank Honda as a company, because when I got hit by a drunk driver coming from Marywood to New York City back in, I think it was like 2004. It had to be 2004. And I was hit by a drunk driver. The way that Honda builds their CRVs arguably saved my life and prevented me from being paralyzed. So I cannot thank Honda enough. Get to Great Lakes Honda City today and let them know that DT sent you their way. Thank you to the entire team over there. With that being said, speaking of a team, we're going to another team here, and that is the team at Chick-fil-A Cicero that brings you LEAD, the acronym Learn, Evolve, Ad-lib, and Deliver. Today's topic from Chick-fil-A Cicero, having a conversation despite differing views. How do most people do this? Well, they don't. That's how they do it. They just don't. Who'd you vote for? Yep, not me. Thanks. Have a great day shopping. What are your thoughts on this? No? Okay, thanks. That's how a lot of people in America deal with life now. You don't agree with me? Kick rocks. There's no conversation. So, Murph, I bring it to you. How do you have a conversation with someone despite differing views?
I feel like this conversation, this topic is so controversial these days, and I feel like it's hard not to use a political conversation for this. And you could talk about, sports and whatnot, and but I feel like the way America has been in the last, 5 years or so, I think political conversations really fit well into this. So I think the biggest way to have this conversation on either side, whether you're the one with, the strong opinion or not, is to just listen.
Yeah.
Right. Somebody that, and again, I think it's just easier to use the political debate here. It's easier to just go out and have a conversation with somebody and just listen. Because whether you agree with them or not, there's always going to be something you agree on, right? Somebody votes for a particular candidate, you're not going to agree with absolutely everything they do, right?
Yeah.
People don't like Donald Trump because he is I won't sugarcoat it, he's a jerk. Actually, I did kind of sugarcoat it a little bit, but, he's the type of guy that, is a classic New York City construction guy that's a jerk. We all know that. I'm aware of that. I voted for him despite it. You're not going to agree with absolutely everything. You're also going to have some things that you agree with the other side on, right? People who didn't like Biden trying to cancel student loans. It would have benefited me. I don't totally agree with it because I would think that it would make prices of things go up, but I'd benefit from it. Right? People want to pay less money for things.
Yeah.
Right? Things are starting to get cheaper. Gas especially. You start drilling for gas, you start drilling for oil, gas is going to get cheaper. That's just the way the world works. Right? So if you listen to people and have that debate, and you and I do that a lot when we talk, especially when we were talking earlier this year about in college football with the Big Ten and versus like I'm going to use the baseball term, the mid-majors. I think it's probably I think that might be a little bit of a better term. But we have those conversations, and it's always a great debate. We disagree, but we listen to each other, and we kind of go off of each other's points, and it's a great conversation. I think every time we had those debates, it was great. It was fun. And I feel like every time we did that, you would text me afterwards and be like, dude, that was a great show. Because the debate was awesome. Because I think debate is something that we need, but you can't have a debate without listening to the other side.
Yeah.
You see, and it goes both ways. There are people that, are hardcore MAGA and they will not listen to anything somebody that voted for Biden or Kamala Harris has to say. Right? There's a lot more people on the other side that think that way. But there are people on the MAGA side that do think that way. So I'm not going to say that it's not both ways, because it is.
Yeah.
Those people can't have those conversations because they won't listen to somebody. I've had plenty of political conversations with people that, voted for the other party. And that's fine, right? I'm willing to listen to what you have to say as long as you're willing to listen to what I have to say. But it's a two-way street. It's got to go both ways.
Yeah.
Right? If you are not willing to listen, you can't have that conversation. If you are, you can have a civil conversation. You might disagree. You're probably going to disagree. Obviously, the topic of the conversation right now is, how do you have a conversation with someone that you disagree with?
Yeah.
But you can, in a lot of cases, just agree to disagree, and then you can figure exactly, right? You can agree to disagree, and you can have a little debate about other things, and who knows, right? Like, I have conversations with all my, keep in mind, I'm like one of the only New York fans in any of my, my friend groups. We'll have, when the Mets beat the Phillies to go to the NLCS against the Dodgers, we, me and my best friend Jake, that's one of the things that, we'll talk about sometimes, is sports and football and baseball and everything. Obviously, he disagreed with the fact that I thought the Mets could beat the Dodgers, but we kept everything civil. And I made a point of that. Before that series, I texted him. I said, listen, I don't care who wins, regardless of who wins. Keep everything civil, not rub it in each other's face. Be happy for your team.
Yeah.
No need to rub it in. And he was like, I'm good with that. And when the Mets won, one of our other friends was kind of rubbing it in a little bit, and I told him to stop. And, we've since kind of had a little bit of, debate where, I kind of brought that up, and, but it's far enough past that it's, it's like the pain of losing is done. Yeah. Like that's already over. But yeah, it's keep it civil, listen to each other, and, agree to disagree. Those would probably be my big three parts, is to just listen, be willing to, keep it civil, and then you can agree to disagree.
Yeah, and like we talked about, I mean, here on the show, like you had mentioned, we've had differing views. And when we've had differing views on the show, I think you and I handled it more like we've had moments where it's like, okay, are we seeing each other's point? And then we talk a few weeks later and you're like, hey, you've never said that Ohio State was a bad team. You never said the Big Ten can't handle it. You made these comments. You made it pretty clear. And you and I actually both spoke where there was a listener that was siding with you, but it was like anti anything that I said. And it was kind of like this, you're either MAGA or you're against MAGA thing. And they were so vehemently against me that I kept making the same point that they didn't understand, but you did. And it got to a point where, like you said, like we have 3 friends in a group and we said, let's be civil. And this one friend wasn't being, there's this person that's writing into the feed and they're negative. And I was saying something that made sense. And you're like, no, I get it. And they were like, well, I side with Murph, but you weren't so far to the other side that you weren't listening. And I tried to handle that thing and say to that person, like, hey, I've made it very clear what my stance is. And now I'm wasting time on my show begging you to understand very simple words. And I mean, I think I went too far because I got upset. Nobody likes having somebody put words in their mouth. And when it happens over months and months and months and months, you get to a point where you say to yourself, like, this is just downright disrespectful. Now, I could have handled myself better. I talk about how Trump could have handled himself better with Zelensky. Like, I could have handled myself better with this person. They just decided to attach themselves to anything that I didn't say. And so because you took a differing view, Murph, I don't know if they agreed with you or if they just wanted to be on the other side. And
I don't know.
And the thing is once they got to that other side, you and I came together and we were civil, and they were still screaming. And
Yep.
so to me, you know, I'm willing to lose those people. Like I'm willing to lose people in my life that seemingly just can't hear what's actually happening. And the unfortunate thing about the world is everybody wants to be heard, but not everybody wants to listen. And I had a conversation with a family member a few months back, and they approached the conversation by calling me a name, telling me who I was, and pigeonholing me into something. And so, like, they started where I wanted to have a conversation to learn why they're on the other side of something that I'm on. Like, I don't believe in this. Why do you believe in this? When I started the conversation, I was sitting on the couch, calm, drinking water, just saying, hey, what are your thoughts on this? I love you. Like, I'm starting this conversation off with the basis of, I love you, you love me, we're both God's children. Let's talk. And we had this conversation, and they name called, they disrespected, they attacked me for saying something. I pronounced something incorrectly, and I didn't even know that I pronounced something incorrectly. And they vehemently went after me about it. They pigeonholed me. They accused me. They were very like, this is who you are. This is what you are. Da 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 da. Everything that they said that they weren't, and everything that they didn't want to be treated like. And so, being in that conversation, I can go right back to that room and say, I respected them. I was open to hearing where they came from. I was open to learning something. I was called names. I was disrespected. I was typecast. I was attacked. And all I did was sit there calmly the whole time. And every time they attacked me, I tried to go back to, okay, let's just talk. And I didn't say, you're this, you're that. When I got called a name, I didn't call a name back. I kept trying to bring it back to the conversation and say, okay, let's be, what is it about this? What is it about that? I didn't even say let's be civil. I just was civil. And so, I mean, how can you have a conversation with someone of differing views, respect them, be open, be honest, be willing to learn, be willing to gain knowledge? It might not change your opinion, but you can gain knowledge. When you haven't experienced something that somebody else has experienced, the least that can happen is you can gain something from it. So, I mean, I sought to gain knowledge and wisdom from this person. I sought to gain life experience. I sought to gain examples. I sought to gain thoughts. They came from a place of hate. I came up from a place of wanting to gain information. So that conversation didn't work out for them the same way it worked out for me. But I would have that conversation with again. Like, I've entertained conversations. I had one 2 days ago where I have an extremely close friend. We're brothers. And he disagreed with me about something. And it was probably like the biggest disagreement that we've had about something. It had nothing to do with us, but about something going on in the world. And we laughed at the end of the conversation. We were on the phone for like 4 hours. And it was the biggest disagreement we've ever had, yet I changed nothing about how I feel about him. So how do you have these conversations? You realize people are different. People have had different experiences. People have different thought processes. People have different places where they gain information. And if you could sit down and you can, I think the biggest thing you have to do in having a conversation with someone that has differing views is you have to walk into the conversation, in my opinion, with care, love, and concern. I'm concerned about you and your well-being. I care about you. I have love for you, or I have like for you. I have appreciation for you. If you don't know the person, so you don't like or love them, I care about them as a child of God. And so I think if you approach everything like, this is God's kid, this is a human being that was given a soul, God has a purpose for this person. If you treat everybody like God made them, then you're not going to yell and scream and call people names. Because this is probably the best thing that I can tell you, and it's something that I use in relationships, and it's one of the reasons why I have not called anyone my girlfriend in almost 3 years. There's one girl that I would have, I will say that, but it just didn't work out. If you treat every relationship, and the reason why I'm so cautious about going into a full-blown relationship with someone is I need to see the type of person they are. I need to see their character. I don't care about their reputation. I want to see their character. And what it breaks down to me is if you treat your conversation that everything you say and you do has to penetrate through Jesus first, through God first, through the Holy Spirit, through Yahweh, through God the Father. If you say to yourself, I'm going to have a conversation with Murph today, and everything I say to him has to pass through God. So if I call him a name, I have to call God the name first. If I yell at him, I have to yell at God first. If I disrespect him, I have to disrespect God first. If I talk over him and try to get him to shut up, I have to talk over and try to get God to shut up. If people treated everything they said and did that it had to go through God first, I would hope that most people would stop. And the reason why, like I said, I'm very cautious about having a relationship with a woman in today's America, it's that what I have seen in relationships is that people try to control, suppress, and dominate the other person, man or woman. And I will not allow that to happen. So I think the best way to have a conversation with differing views is to love, care, respect, and be open to gaining something. It doesn't have to change your opinion, but just be open to gaining something new. That is lead.
Sure.
Learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver. Proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero on 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, New York. We'll take a quick step aside here inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios on Wake Up Call, and when Murph and I come back, we will give you who our top dog of the week is. I don't know his. He doesn't know mine. It's coming up after this. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
All right, you need to come out here and get yourself the Brooklyn Pickle. I was talking about this with one of my buddies. I was like, yo, there's no better sandwich in the state of New York than the Brooklyn Pickle. And now that I found out that they're going down to North Carolina, we are taking over your taste buds everywhere you are, wherever you're going to be. You need to get yourself out to the Brooklyn Pickle. Pinehurst, you just realized that you found yourself the best sandwich shop that you're ever going to have. This is a glorious moment. It's a blessing to your community. You're welcome. Brooklyn in the house, baby. Go over to the Brooklyn Pickle. You already know what it is.
You heard the man. Head to Brooklyn Pickle Pinehurst on 1788 Old Morgantown Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina. And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. They are your home for your next new or used vehicle, folks. The Honda Civic, the Accord, the Ridgeline, the HRV, the CRV, the Pilot, and so on and so forth. So many great products at Honda. They basically like made an awesome product in the CRV, and then they thought, well, we could make it a little bit bigger, Pilot. We can make it a little bit smaller, HRV. They're like, everybody loves the CRV, so let's make different like models that go off of that, and we can make this one for a bigger family, and this one could be just for you or for college and for this and that. So incredibly intuitive and smart to take a product that was working and has been working for over a decade and to expand it into something else. So I give a lot of credit to Great Lakes Honda City and to the Honda company in general. Head over there today, let them know the DT sent you, and get your next ride from Great Lakes Honda City. That's right. And make sure you go to greatlakeshondacity.com. I love my 2025 CRV. It's black. They changed the front of it. They said a lot of women like the CRV. They wanted more men to like it, so they changed the front of the CRV. And my CRV is very it's like you,
I can second that. It is a gorgeous looking vehicle.
Yeah, you pull up to it and you're just like, I want to mess with that. So like I appreciate my CRV very, very much so. It is time for the top dog of the week, and I cannot do it without the help of Miss Lily. Top dog of the week brought to you by K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare. You will find K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, right off of Bridge Street, right across the street from BJ's. You can see it on the way onto the highway and off of the highway, right off of Erie Boulevard. Take Bridge Street. BJ's will be on your right. You take a left at that light, and you go right over. As you're going up the hill, you take that turn before you go over the bridge, and you will find 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse for K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare, and they are the place that I would bring your furry-loving friend. The campground and the daycare, appreciate them so very much, and I cannot thank Lorraine enough for how she has treated Miss Lily. So with that being said, I defer to Murph to give us his top dog of the week.
Well, I kind of teased it already in the annoying moment of the week, but I do want to give credit where credit is due to Golf Tech East Hanover for running an incredible fitting event on Saturday. Like I said, Sunday was the annoying moment of the week. Saturday is top dog of the week. That was an incredible event. They had all four of the big vendors there. It was us with me with TaylorMade. Yeah. Callaway, Ping, and Mizuno were there. They did about 30,000 worth of retail club sales on Saturday, and about half of it was TaylorMade. So everybody that was coming in, they were all pre-fit. So basically, we already knew roughly what their what they needed. All we really had to do was just dial in what it needed to be, and we were good to go. And it was run fabulously well, outstanding by the Golf Tech East Hanover team, and it was well organized for the vendors. For us, they brought us lunch on Saturday. The pizza was very good, so I'll give them some big credit for that. Their center is enormous. It is on the second floor of a decent-sized building, and it is it's massive. There's 6 bays. There's a nice, huge putting area, and the timing of all the fittings and the event was so well done. They were on top of us with time, which was not necessarily a bad thing. But all these guys were they already knew pretty much what they were getting.
Yeah.
So it was really simple to fit. It wasn't that difficult, and we did almost $10,000 worth of sales that day. So, from a work perspective, that was an amazing day. I will always have a soft spot for Golf Tech, and this is, to the point where we're going to be, kind of taking Golf Tech and taking this idea and kind of pitching it up the ladder at TaylorMade and hopefully pitching it to Golf Tech to do it more places. Because for starters, it was an easy day. It was, it was a long day, but it was not a difficult day at all because the sales are basically there already. And everybody got credit for it. Golf Tech did, we did, and we really didn't have to do all that much. So I will give the staff and everybody at Golf Tech East Hanover that planned that event the honor of being my top dog of the week.
I love that. I appreciate that. Give love where love is due. My top dog of the week, and I can't help but have Lily one more time do it. My top dog of the week is going to a story that touched my heart and a person who is at the center of this story. And that is Mason Alexander. Mason Alexander, a Pitt Panthers cornerback. Pat Narduzzi had this to say, the head coach, and I've known Pat Narduzzi for a while. Quote, I received a call this morning that no parent, teacher, or coach ever wants to get. The news of the sudden loss of a young and promising life. Our entire program is shocked and deeply saddened to learn of Mason Alexander's passing. Mason had just enrolled at Pitt in January, following his early graduation from Indiana's Hamilton Southeastern High School. Hello, Lily. My dog came in. Hi, sweetheart. Did you hear your voice? I love you. Here, come up here. Come up here. You want to be with Daddy when Daddy?
There you go.
When Daddy reads this off. I love you more than life. You know that. Okay, so even during that short time, he made a great impression on all of us. Mason was proud and excited to be a Panther, and we felt the same way about having him in our Pitt family. He will always be a Panther to us, the Alexander family, and Mason's many loved ones and friends will be in our prayers, end quote. That's from Pat Narduzzi. Mason Alexander was a passenger in a fatal crash that happened on Florida Road near Southeastern Parkway at Interstate 69. That happened on March 1st, this past Saturday, at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, according to a press release from the Hamilton County, which is in Indiana, Sheriff's Office. He was 18 years old. Four-star corner out of Hamilton Southeastern High School and enrolled early at the University of Pitt. He spoke with the media, the Pitt media, and he said that his goal was to make it to the NFL. Well, Mason, you are my top dog of the week because there is no life that is unimportant. There is no life that shouldn't be spoken about. And though you were 18 years old and gone too soon, though you're just a kid, and now you're watching from up in heaven, your goal, your aspirations, everything that you had inside of you that meant something to you, it matters. Your family matters. You matter. And to me, I prayed for this yesterday, and I'll pray for this again. May your legacy live on forever. May the way you touch people's lives, the good things that you did, and how you spent your 18 years have a long-lasting effect that truly allows us to see who you are. I want to believe that everyone who has left this earth, I had a friend, Griffin, who passed away at 17. So to those that have been gone way too soon, and let's face it, a good person can never be taken too quickly, right? It's always too soon. My grandmother was almost 101, and to me it was too soon, right? So when we look at life and we look at what we have in our lives, we think about, well, people have to have a certain amount of time to leave a legacy. People have to have a certain amount of years. They have to achieve this. They got to do that. Well, sometimes we don't have that. And for Mason, I don't want to think about this as a wasted life or a life lost. I want to look at this as a life that we can learn from. So Mason, if you've taught us anything today as our top dog of the week, you've taught us to cherish our loved ones, to cherish our moments, to cherish our life, to cherish what we say, to cherish what we do, and to cherish those that we choose to spend our time around. That we have a hobby, to love it with everything we have. That if we have a desire and a dream, that we chase it. And that we give hard work, dedication, and determination. That we don't just tell God, give it to me, but that we ask God for it in prayer and petition with thanksgiving, and we work hard for it. So Mason, 18 years old, it's a young life. But it is my prayer, it is my hope that God worked through you so much in 18 years and will continue to work through you and through your loved ones, that you will have a legacy that will go far beyond the NFL, far beyond any dream of football, and will reach somebody somewhere today, tomorrow, and the next day. Mason, you are my top dog of the week because there's not a single life that God does not count, and there's not a single life that I will not count in reverence of God. God bless you. God bless your loved ones. And may you be watching over us from heaven, smiling, happy, and may your positivity, your goodness, and everything that you brought to this world in the name of God be going forward with your loved ones, with those you've touched, and with total strangers today, tomorrow, and the next day. God bless you, Mason. And God bless your family. with that being said, Murph and I will take one final step aside. And when we come back, it's sports card show and tell time. And Papa finally got a stack to show the world.
Ooh, so look at you, big baller.
I am very excited because I have bought some things, and I haven't looked at the GG Cards and Breaks cases in a while because I've been going in and buying boxes and packs. Well, they've done a lot of that. Those cases are constantly evolving. Well, I looked into those cases and I found a lot of things. And I think I brought something home that Murph might want. And I know I definitely pulled something that Murph wants. So we'll take a step aside for a fast break. We'll be back after this on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And we remember the life of Mason Alexander with a moment of silence before this fast break. Thank you all. God bless. And don't waste time. Avicolli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicolli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicolli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicollis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to K-9 Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see K-9 Campground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call K-9 Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9Campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9Campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to K9 Campground.
Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvelange, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York is your one-stop sports card and trading card shop. You can find everything you need at GG Cards and Breaks, from their packs and boxes to singles when it comes to hockey, soccer, basketball, baseball, football, Disney Lorcana, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, and more while supplies last. Get yourself over there. And speaking of supplies, they have everything. Boxes, binders, the sheets for the binders, one-touch cases, all different shapes and sizes when it comes to top loaders, sleeves, so you can buy your card, protect your card, get your card in the box, get it home. You can walk into GG Cards and Breaks having never collected a card before and walk out of there like you're some elite collector of many years, because you walk in, just you, right? You walk out, you got boxes to open, you got a box filled with cards that you top loaded, you got all your stuff in there from the graded cards and the singles that you bought. I know more now about the trading card world thanks to GG Cards and Breaks. I am in there all the time. I love them dearly because they work incredibly hard and they're just different in a great way. They care about customer service, they care about people, and they give so much to their craft, and they love it. They're big kids. And I believe that when you're in a business, if you're not a big kid, you're doing it wrong. So thanks to Josh, thanks to Anthony, and thanks to the entire team at GG Cards and Breaks, 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Let them know the DT sent you. They are open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6, and on Sundays from 10 to 5. With that being said, inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, we're hanging out where sports meets life. Great Lakes Honda City. Make sure you get over to them, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool. Let them know that we sent you their way, and all you have to do is say, DT sent me, Great Lakes Honda City. You can find out more at greatlakeshondacity.com. Murph, I have been strategic in not putting any of these posts out. I took pictures with cards. I made a massive deal this past week, and I have been strategic to post nothing on my social media so that you wouldn't know what's coming. I have been outrageously patient, and I have been waiting to put these posts out to tell people what we've done around the world, but I couldn't do it before I told you. So I got a lot to show. I'm going to defer to you and let you do your thing.
Well, I'll be quick because there's not much.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 5 cards, literally.
Okay.
2 of them, I don't know if I've showed them on the show yet. I pulled them out because if I didn't, it's just an easy one to do.
Okay.
The first one is a PC card. It is my second RPA of him. It is the Rookie Premier Absolute 299 of, hopefully, future Jet starting quarterback, Jordan Travis.
There we go. I like that.
I then have a card that for Philly should be a really popular one, and hopefully we'll be able to move it on day one. He is going to be there signing at the Philly show this weekend, so that show's going to be unbelievably packed. So there is that. So it is Cooper DeJean.
Oh, nice.
A Topps Chrome Auto 299. Last sold for, I think, $105 or something like that. I think I paid $80.
Let's go,
something
Cooper.
like that.
Yeah, I like it.
Here's another card that I have for Philly. I've had one of these before. It is just barely a 4-color patch RPA. of new Super Bowl champion and Super Bowl MVP, Jalen Hurts.
Nice.
This will not be making it home. If it does, I would be shocked.
Yeah.
And then these other two are pretty small. One of them is a rookie card of Ricky Henderson and a PSA 6. And the other is the SP foil of Derek Jeter in a PSA 6.
Jeter. I love Jeter.
All right, my friend. It is all yours. I am very interested to see what you've got.
This might cause some people to take their clothes off and put on a mask of their favorite president and run around campus. So here we go with this. I do not promote streaking. I was kidding, folks. Please don't do it. Please don't do it. By the way, it's cold outside, men. So if you streak today, just remind the women that it's not the same. So anywho, so here we go. I'm getting myself in trouble. So there's a bunch of stuff from what I opened. Let me make sure I put this in proper ordering here. I'm going to do that and then that and then that. Here we go. Okay. So here's these. So I open up a box from the Donruss. They flew off the shelves. So this is why you got to get to GG Cards and Breaks. Donruss, I was so excited. First product I ever saw with Aaron Rodgers on the cover in a Jets uniform. Open up a Donruss mega box, and I got these awesome wave refractors that are multicolored. So these are some rookie ones here. So we got Fuaga from New
Red
Orleans.
Wave optic preview. Look at that.
And they're nice. Yeah, a little optic preview here of the rated rookie of a guy that I covered in college who went to Syracuse and then went to Louisville, Jawar Jordan Jr. Then I got a Theo Johnson wave refractor of the optic.
Nice.
His rookie. I got Jace McLennan, his rookie refractor pink parallel. And then we got a Nate Wiggins, another rookie refractor pink parallel of Wiggies. Then I got this one, which I don't think is going to be staying with me. I'm sure it'll be gone at my next GG Cards or Breaks trade night. By the way, if you haven't been to a GG Cards or Breaks trade night, get yourself out there. I have done tremendously in these last couple that we've had. And one of them was right before I went traveling, and I had an awesome, awesome time out there at the Wildcat. Here is one that I don't think is going to stay with me long. It is a rookie phenom patch card of Mr. Ray Davis of the Buffalo Bills.
Yep.
We got a
That's going to be real popular up by you.
That'll be popular. So we got a production line refractor card of Zay and Lamar Jackson. We'll
I don't know
insert.
if I've ever seen that parallel before. That's interesting.
No, it's cool. It's really cool. And then I have the Jamar Chase Bomb Squad.
Nice.
This one might get graded. We have a Bucky Irving rated rookie. We have a Donruss insert rookie of JJ in his full gear. He's now the starting quarterback for Minnesota. And the last one I have to show you from that box that I opened, Jordan Travis.
Nice.
Jordan Travis rated rookie of the Jets. And then the cards that I bought from GG Cards and Breaks, and don't look at the price here because this is just the price that was on there, but this is a laser refractor airborne rookie card of the guy I predicted would have the second best rookie season behind Jaden Daniels, and I believe he did. This one may get graded. This is a Bo Nix.
That's a good looking card.
Airborne refractor in the Denver uniform. This is one that I thought you might like because it's him with the helmet on, with the helmet off. It's numbered. I want to see here really quick. It is numbered to 99. I think it's number 23 of 99. So this is a rookie patch auto with two pictures of Breece Hall.
Oh, that's cool.
I just thought it was a really, really good looking card. Really cool card.
That is a cool card.
So I got those. So that's from GG Cards and Breaks from a box break, a Donruss Mega Box, and from what I bought individually. And then once again, don't look at these prices, but I got these two because I wanted to have these. And they're both rookie cards. One's a refractor and one is not, but they're both rookie card PSA 10s. Jackson Churio, rookie card PSA 10 of him. So I got a couple baseball, and then I got a rookie refractor of Yamamoto, who is now a World Series champion. So,
that's the Montgomery one.
Yeah.
It's not like a regular refractor. It's a little bit different.
Yeah, if you look at it, it says Montgomery. You can see it on the bottom. So Yes, so I got a Yamamoto PSA 10 and a Jackson Cheerio PSA 10. I'm going to let everybody know about the sale that I made before I show my last card. So the sale that I made had to do with the fact that I decided to put up my Syracuse cards, to put up my Kyle McCord autos. One was to 25 and one was to 499. And the one to 25 was doing around $100 on recent sales. And then I had a rookie, a Bowman first of Oronde Gadsden base card. And then I had a purple parallel. And then I had a Oronde Gadsden signature card. I looked at how much they were worth, and I sold them for almost 100% of comps at the time of what they're worth. And so those 5 cards went out. They went to somebody who follows me on Facebook. I put it on Facebook, X, and Instagram. I got offers. I got people interested on all 3. I got offers that came in immediately. I got an offer on Instagram. I got a bunch of asks on Facebook. I got direct offers from people that privately messaged me, and I sold them for $175. And then I paid
Very
$5
nice.
at shipping. So I made about $170 on 5 cards and Kyle McCord and Oronde Gadsden. Here's the thing.
I would think you profited pretty good on that stuff too.
Oh, I absolutely did. I think that what I spent on those cards, if you put all of it together, I think that I probably spent like $50.
There you go. See, now you're talking my language, right?
So
but what's nice about it, and we've had this conversation before, so you kind of think more in terms of, what the total number is, and that's, you're not wrong. Right? Because, you sell a card for $300. That's $300 in your pocket that you didn't have yesterday. Right? So, you think that way, you think profit at the same time. Like, you profited like $120 on those cards.
Yeah.
$120 that you never had.
Right.
That's pretty darn good.
Right. And it was from banking on Kyle McCord before the season. And
you were right.
And Oronde Gadsden, yes, and I was right. So, and he just got to throw a bit out there I
don't know where he's going to end up.
Combine.
Did he just throw today? Because today's the quarterback's day, right?
Yeah, he threw yesterday.
How did he look?
Good. I got it all recorded too. So
okay.
So I got it recorded so I can go back and
I hope he does well. I do.
By the way, Tyler Shugg from Louisville, who I also interviewed in my coverage of the ACC, they were talking very well of him. The commentators were saying some good things about him. So shout out to Tyler Shugg. My man Dylan Gabriel was out there doing his thing from Oregon, Oklahoma before that, and then I started covering him when he was at UCF. I have his autograph, so I think he'll get drafted. He might get drafted 6th round, but I think he's got a shot of getting picked up in like the 3rd day, 6th round. So I'm excited for Dylan. I'm excited.
I could see the Dolphins bringing him in.
Yeah, I mean we could, and then also Riley Leonard went out there, and that's my buddy. And I've known Riley for a long time. He showed some value out there too. He already had it in my book, but I think he showed it more to people. So that was cool to see. And once again, and I probably should have called this my annoying moment of the week, in true fashion, the people that have the most hype don't have to throw and, gosh forbid, break a nail. Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward. I can't stand that the top prospects don't actually work out. It drives me insane because to me it's like if you're that good, then show everybody. So shout out to the ones that did. Kyle McCord got himself out there. I love it. Nothing against Shedeur or Cam. I'm just saying in general, I can't stand. If you're not hurt, then what are you doing? Like, because there's so much hype around you and enough people mentioned you and you know the right people, you don't have to go out there and work. Like, to me, think about it. Going in for surgery tomorrow and I pre-planned the rest of the entire week. I'm not, if I was Cam or Shedeur this year, I would have done the show today and then I would have told you all to have a great week. So, I mean, to me, I don't like that stuff. But
can I just get off my chest real quick that there was a stupid rumor that the Jets are trying to trade up to number 1? Can I just get that off my chest, at how stupid of an idea that is?
I hope you don't.
God help us if we do.
I hope you don't.
If they trade up and take a quarterback,
yeah.
If they take a quarterback at 7, I'm already going to be pissed. But if they trade up to take one of those 2 idiots,
yeah,
I'll be a Giants fan.
All right. We're gonna put that. That's gonna be down.
I don't know if I'm actually going to live up to that.
Oh no, that's gonna be down on paper. You said
but
it.
I'm also saying that because I don't think they're dumb enough to do it.
Yeah.
And if they are dumb enough to do it, then I really shouldn't be a Jets fan anymore. But I think I could commit at least for a year.
Yeah.
I think I'll commit to that for at least a year. If the Jets trade up and draft a quarterback, especially if it's not one of those two,
yeah,
I won't be a Jet. I'll be a Giants fan this year.
I'm gonna hold you to that. That if the Jets, because they did it last year to get Jordan Travis, if they trade up in any round,
no, first round.
I know, like the fifth
if
round,
they trade up in the second round to take Kyle McCord, I'm in.
Yeah,
but not the first round.
Me too.
You cannot trade up and take one of those two idiots.
I'll tell you this right now,
because they both stink. I don't care where they go. They're both going to be terrible. The teams that draft them are going to be worse off because of it, especially whoever gets Sanders.
I'm going to tell you this right now. If the Jets or the Giants take Kyle McCord, people should be fans of those teams.
Yeah. I'm
going to show you. So this is long in the making. So,
this is something I know you like. I kind of saw the logo on the back.
So I've never, ever had a 1-of-1 that I've opened. Pete Green, the owner of Mother's Cupboard, who we are proudly partnered with, and 7 days a week you can get my breakfast sandwich exclusively there, called the Cuse McMother. And when I think about it, I can smell the French toast. It is bacon, egg, and cheese inside of 2 pieces of French toast, and you can put syrup on it, and it's fantastic. So Pete is a card collector. He started coming with me to GG Cards and Breaks. We decided to open up a box each a couple months ago. And he said to me, open a pack from my box. And I was like, no, man, it's your box. He goes, no, open it. So I took this pack, I opened this pack, and I saw this. I saw the Jaguars logo, and I saw Brian Thomas Jr., and I thought, okay, well, obviously it's his rookie card. It was upside down because it's the year, it's 2024, so I said it's his rookie card. It was upside down, and I said, all right, it's an autograph, it's a patch card, something of that nature. Pete told me that to this day, only myself and Anthony Campbell of GG Cards and Breaks have physically touched this card with our hands before we put it in the one-touch case. Because I took it out of the pack, and then Anthony put it in the one-touch case. And I flipped it over, and I said, okay, it's a refractor. It's a rookie card of Brian Thomas Jr. I said, why is it in cursive? Brian Thomas Jr., 1-of-1. I opened this in Pete's box, and when I got this, I said, well, obviously it belongs to Pete. He bought the box, but it's my only 1-of-1 that I've ever pulled. And he goes, no, you pulled it. He said, whether it's my box or not, you physically pulled it. He said, I'm a believer that whoever touches the pack, like if I opened that pack, it would have been a different card. That's what he believed. And I believe that stuff too. So he's like, it would have been a different card. So I pulled this. He said, I am setting this aside if you want it. We made a deal. It cost me no money. I gave up 5 of my cards that I was okay giving up. Some I had for a long time. I wanted to make sure Pete had the value. We sat for a while. We went to GG Cards and Breaks. We went to the table. We made a deal on site because I said to myself, the first 1-of-1 I ever pull is a Jaguar, and it's not mine. That's not right. So my 1-of-1... Brian Thomas Jr., who just had a record-setting rookie season for receiving in Jaguars history. Keep it going, Brian. This card right now is at least $350. And
that would look phenomenal in an SGC slab. No matter what the grade is.
She is pretty.
But you know why I say SGC and not PSA? Because of the black border.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not that it wouldn't look good in a PSA slab, but I would want that in an SGC slab personally. That's just me. And plus, it'll cost you cheaper. It'll cost you less, and you'll get it back quicker. Because PSA, if you don't already know, for those folks out there, number 1 is getting slower right now, and number 2, supposedly, they started using AI to grade.
Nice.
And they changed their parameters for centering on a 10 to 55-45 instead of 60-40. So getting a 10 is much more difficult now.
Nice.
So I'm half tempted to start sending more cards to SGC.
Yeah, what's the point of having people if you don't utilize people? And what's the point of having jobs if you don't give it to the people? So it's not like a robot is going to not be able to feed their family if they don't have a job. So Jackson Churio Yamamoto, 10s, the one of Brian Thomas Jr. is finally home. I made this deal. Because it's in the one-touch case, I took this card with me to the Syracuse basketball game to show Isaac. Once I got this card, it stayed on my physical person for the rest of the night until I came home. So Brian Thomas Jr. is home, and I'm very happy to have him. We appreciate the deal. I appreciate it, Pete Green, and I love it. And Anthony Campbell has had the Midas touch. He has had it for months. Whatever box he has chosen for himself or someone else has been incredible. So I have continued to have him choose some stuff for me. Very excited about what we got. My first
That's
101
amazing.
is a Jaguar. It's connected to my friends at GG Cards and Breaks and Mother's Cupboard. It's a deal done with a buddy of mine, Pete Green, the owner of GG Cards and Breaks. So much love to Pete. And of all 101s that I could have ever pulled, the fact that I pulled a Jaguar is just all too poetic. So happy to have Brian Thomas home here. I also have Brian Thomas. I have a PSA 9 of his Bowman first over here. So with that being said, on youtube.com and facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, we thank you for tuning in. I'm going to keep Murph here with me for a second. Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. Once we go live, we jump into the archives on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. And I can actually say this, and it might make Murph laugh. If you're looking for Wake Up Call, Google me. How about that? So
nice.
It actually works. So from New York to North Carolina, the Brooklyn Pickle, 1788 Old Morganton Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina. Much appreciation for all the work they do in upstate New York. And now that they're down in one of my favorite states in the Union, big time fan of North Carolina, head to Southern Pines. And why is this Brooklyn Pickle so significant? Because it's less than 10 minutes from Pinehurst Golf Course that the PGA Tour utilizes. So you can go and golf and go and eat some Brooklyn Pickle on a rainy day, a sunny day, or whatever day. The Brooklyn Pickle is there for you. North Carolina, you just found out what a good sandwich tastes like by going to Brooklyn Pickle in Southern Pines. Let them know that DT sent you. 1788 Old Morganton Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina. Big time thanks to our incredible team of partners in Central and Upstate New York. I thank them for all of the specials that are to come with Gene Marshall, with Phil Brown and Jeremiah Marr, with Herm Frazier, with Mo Neal. Big time thanks to Brooklyn Pickle in North Carolina and to Great Lakes Honda City. Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Breaks, Mon Paz, the snack capital of the world, Avicolli's, K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare, Mother's Cupboard, Servomation, K-9 Campground Dog Boarding, Chick-fil-A Cicero, Pizza Man, Brian's Landing, and of course we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins. It's Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Dolphins by coming to the show Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. This Wednesday we will have, on the eve of Lemoyne Giving Day, 24 hours of giving. You will hear from the Assistant VP of Intercollegiate Athletics and Campus Recreation, Phil Brown, and you'll hear from Lemoyne's Director of Philanthropy, Jeremiah Marr, on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Don't miss a moment of that. It is a fantastic conversation you won't find anywhere else. That exclusive airs this Wednesday, and the Dolphins are with me every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Find our content by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find the Lemoyne playlist of almost 200 videos already. Crazy. And, of course, you can find them on the wakeupcalldt.com homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to LeMoyneDolphins.com and Fins Up. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Today, we're going to bringing you a Bobcat Buzz, as I will be emceeing the selection show of finding out where the men's basketball team, who they're going to be playing in Buffalo in the national tournament. You know the NCAA tournament in March Madness? This is just like that. It's the USCAA small college tournament here. It's in Buffalo. It's moved from Virginia to Buffalo, and I will be on site on location by the grace of God with the Bobcats telling their story. The men's basketball team will find out who they're playing and what seed they are today, and I am going to be exclusively bringing you that show from on campus at Bryan and Stratton in less than a couple hours here, so make sure you stay tuned to us for that. The Bobcat Buzz can be found on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, find our BSC Syracuse playlist, and of course you can find the Bobcats on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com and go Bobcats. The Binghamton University Bearcats are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Bearcats every single Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. This week, we celebrate heading into year 2 of our partnership in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University. Gene Marshall, the athletics director, will join me from on campus to tell the story of Binghamton as we continue on into year 2. You can find all of our content with the Bearcats by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, find our Binghamton playlist. You can also find the Bearcats on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to binghamtonbearcats.com and go Bearcats. With that being said, Murphalation for the nation, we did an entire week of Wake Up Call in one day. And as I head into surgery tomorrow, I ask for your prayers, your well wishes, and your kind thoughts. Murph, as always, I appreciate your time.
Of course, my friend. Hope everything goes well. You have a nice, speedy recovery, and I don't envy you for a minute with what you're having done, because thank God, as far as I know, the dentist has told me I never have to have it done. Knock on wood, but hoping you have a speedy recovery. Enjoy some different shows. Watch season 3 of Full Swing on Netflix. That'll be a cool. You've seen Full Swing, right?
I've not watched Full Swing yet.
You haven't watched Full Swing?
Very much. No, I've been very I have like things that I'm going to be watching. I have I have things set up for like my parents. I have this table that has my comic books I'm going to be reading. I'm going to be reading the original Secret Wars that I got from Parker Banner, Kent and Wayne, our exclusive studio partner for Superpowered Pop, that I just did a video about yesterday. Check it out. Shout out to Matt Milburn and the team down on 21500 Catawba Ave, Suite A in Cornelius, North Carolina, just outside of Charlotte. And so I'm going to be reading those. I joined a book club, so I'm going to be reading the book Something in the Water. So I have those set up, and I have movies and video game stuff set up. I'm actually going to be playing.
There you go.
I've never, ever bought... So, like, the newer baseball stuff, like the newer baseball video games, I have never gotten one before, and I actually got the show. So I'm going to be playing. It's not the newest one, but I'm going to be playing.
Well, the newest one comes out in like 2 or 3 weeks, I think.
Yeah, so I'm going to be playing the show. And, so I actually have set up my room for my dog and I with my books, my comic books. My Bible's always next to my bed. I have my movies. I have my streaming set up. By the way, perfect timing to have surgery. Daredevil comes back in the Marvel Cinematic Universe tomorrow. So I will go home and watch Daredevil. And, of course, I'm going to be watching Venom because I love Venom. So I got the 3rd movie, courtesy of my mom. So I have 1, 2, and 3. So I got plenty of stuff to watch. I'm also jumping back onto Friends after watching Matthew Perry. So I will be very busy, and I have to catch up on Severance on Apple TV+. So I have a plan. I have a system.
There you go.
Very excited for my system.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, you take care of yourself. Hopefully all goes well with the surgery, and we will see you. Well, we'll talk about next Monday because I got an event next Monday, so we may have to do a different day next week. But I will talk with you next week, though.
Sounds good.
Hope all goes well with the surgery, man, my friend.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate the kind words at the top of the show and throughout. And I look forward to talking with you soon. God bless to you and your family. Always praying for all of you. Say hi to Mom and Dad Murphy. and to that wonderful dog and to your siblings and all. And I'll look forward to talking with you soon.
Will do, my friend.
All right, take care. Coming from Murph, I want to thank y'all for tuning in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, a week of broadcasts in a day. That is what we did here inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, inside of MonPawsPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. We brought you the ingredients to success from Avicolli's, the annoying moment of the week from Carvel DeWitt, lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver from Chick-fil-A Cicero, the top dog of the week from K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare, and GG Cards and Breaks, bringing you show and tell. All of that has been here for you in one episode, and I am more than happy to be sharing with you 4 new signature specials that are all pertinent to this week. You will not want to miss a second of what's coming up Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from March 4th to March 7th this week. I will be getting better from surgery. God willing, all will go well. I appreciate you. I love you. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, may we all be well. Amen. May we all be well. May we all be healthy, safe, and happy. May we heal completely and for good. And no matter what, may we heal through you. May we handle well whatever comes our way, in and out of our control. May we be safe and sound and together. And even with those that have passed on, may we be with them and them with us, because dying you destroyed our death, and rising you restored our life. May this surgery heal all of the things that have been going on with me that have been adversely affecting me. May I get back to 100%. May everybody get back to 100%. May miracles continue to happen, and may we all be safe and sound and well. Everyone that's passed on, may they be in heaven. Everyone here on earth, may we have our heaven on earth, God, by you just helping us to focus on what's important, giving us loved ones that truly care about us and are there for us, our true loved ones. Help us to do what we love and love what we do, to not waste a second of life. May we all be guided by you and guarded by you, guided toward you and guarded from all that is not you. I love you, God, with all that I am, and in Jesus' most precious name, I pray for a wonderful week, a wonderful surgery, for everything to go well, not just for me, but for everyone. I pray for you and all of your loved ones out there, to those that are watching and listening, and to everyone that is out there. God bless you. No stress. Continue to do your best. I am always with you. And above that, God is with you. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. From the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, this is Wake Up Call. I am Dan Tortora, and you are amazing.